Hey guys, quick little video. Just kind of got a unique little hunting rifle here that I really actually had to do some research on just to get some info on it. It's a Kent Firearms Limited 308 rifle. Now I had heard of Kent before, but I really couldn't place them. I couldn't think of anything they had manufactured, and so I had to do some research. A buddy of mine brought this over and wanted me to get it cleaned up a little bit and fix a spring down here. And you know, so I was taking a look at it and did some research on it. That's kind of wanted to make the video because it is kind of a unique little rifle. These were imported by Kent Limited back in the 1960s, the late 1960s, actually from about 1966 to 1968. They were only imported for about a couple years. Of course, from 1968, we got the Gun Control Act, which put a lot of limitations on importation. So a lot of companies that used to import fairly inexpensive rifles like this one, of course they had to stop importing them because it was just too many rules and regulations and too much they couldn't do anymore. So these were imported from Spain for those very, very few years in the late 60s, and they were a very inexpensive rifle. They were kind of a cheap alternative to a hunting rifle, an entry-level hunting rifle. I mean, these weren't, you know, even as good as the ones they were selling at Montgomery Ward's or Sears or anything like that. These were very, very cheap, okay? And I'll kind of go over what I'm talking about here as far as the design goes when I say cheap. Now, doesn't make that a bad hunting rifle. Like I said, this belongs to a friend of mine. I've seen deer he's taken with it. It works. It's very accurate. But they don't retain a lot of value, and you can kind of tell that they were slapped together fairly inexpensively and then imported so that they could be sold pretty cheap. These things, I occasionally see them on Gunbroker for $200 to $300. Really, $300 is the max you're going to see them for, and mostly that's if they already have a scope and they're already set up and they're in good condition. Otherwise, usually they're about $200, which is just a little bit more than you're going to buy them most on the Gaunt for. If that kind of gives you an idea of, you know, kind of how people look at these things. Even though they're rare, there's not a lot of them out there, they're still not worth a lot of money. One of the ways they saved on the cost and the design of this gun was by using a very, very old school bolt. Kind of a, I don't want to say it's like a Mauser action, but kind of an old school, really, really old design. On a standard rifle, hunting rifle, bolt action rifle, even back in the 1960s, the action of basically just pulling up the lever there is what cocks the bolt. All standard, you know, bolt action rifles, even today, even most in the Gaunts back in the, you know, 1890s. You know, you pull that up like that, that cocks the bolt back, gets it ready to fire. This gun, no. Reason being, that design is a little bit more expensive to go with. This is a cheaper way to do it. Basically, this does nothing. Okay, that's just lifting the lever up so you can put it into action. You pull it back like that. You see this little piece sticking down right there? Well, of course, you've got your piece sticking up off the trigger that it catches on. So when you go to push the bolt back in and ride it home, you have all your spring tension there. It cocks the bolt back while you're pushing it in. So you have actually spring tension that works against you trying to load the round into the chamber. At this point right here, you've got to push in and hold down. And of course, you see the bolt is cocked back. Bad thing about that is well, first off, it's a pain because, you know, it's not, it doesn't just freely ride the round into the chamber. You got to jam it in there to put forth, you know, enough pressure to get past the spring tension. Plus, if you accidentally knock this up, it shoots back because of all that spring tension. It's just kind of an inexpensive way to manufacture a bolt, and so that's kind of why they did it. But all in all, I mean, it's a decent rifle. I mean, if you run across one for, you know, a couple $100, I mean, it's worth it. They're good, accurate rifles, but they are cheap, in my opinion. So anyway, that's it, guys. There is a Kent Firearms Limited 308. Very rare gun. It even stumped me a little bit. So hey, appreciate you guys watching. Questions or comments, leave them down below, and we will talk to you later. Thanks.